Good afternoon. I hope I'm audible to everyone. This is the last session before lunch, so I will try to make it as quick as possible, but I also hope I can keep it interesting for all of you. So, can I have the first chart? Just in the interest of time. But before I proceed, can I just have a show of hands as to how many talent and HR leaders do we have in the audience today? Just a quick show of hands. Okay, good. So we do have a few people. I represent the HR function, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about what happens to all the students and college grads that are being groomed by, by Wrong Guru, and of course, what happens when they come into corporates, and they have to face managers and leaders, and have to look for skills that are going to come in the future. Martin just talked about all the new trends that are coming in terms of the workforce skills needed. We had Philia talking about all the most critical skills, and she did mention cognitive capabilities as one of the areas that we need to focus on. Sorry, I need to just... Okay, that says Watson for talent, just in case, since you cannot see it. So, I come from a company that, is not unknown to all of you. It is more than about 106 years old now, has gone through several transformations. We operate in 171 countries. We have more than 380,000 IBMers across the world. And we have also transformed our businesses. So many of you would know IBM from its hardware and laptop. And over the last 10, 15 years, we have been consistently transforming from becoming hardware to a software, then to a services, then to software. And today we call ourselves a cloud and cognitive solutions platform company. So the change that is happening is very much aligned to the change in the future of work. And we are seeing this trend happening all across. And my focus today is to give you a glimpse of how the HR organization is changing to support the business in this cognitive era. So my talk really will be focused on internal employees, and that's the reason I asked the question about how many of you are from the HR field itself. And as I showcase some of the products that we have in the market in the space of artificial intelligence-enabled products, I hope you can take away how that would be relevant for the future workforce. So moving on, we are going through talent disruption. I won't belabor this point. I think since morning, we've had several eminent speakers talk about how the talent, era, the era of the workforce today is really changing from how learning is supposed to be done, how people are going to work in different type of workplaces, and then the future of work and the roles that we have in the organizations are also changing. Just to give few data points, we have an Institute of Business Value, which also does its own research. And we recently surveyed about 5,600 CEOs and CHROs across 48 countries. And we asked them a simple question about what are the challenges that you see in terms of the workforce. So some quick data points that will give you the magnitude of the talent disruption problem. Almost 50% of the CEOs that were surveyed, they said they have a problem in matching skills that are relevant for the future business for the next 3 to 5 years. 50% CEOs said they don't find the skills. 71% of the recruiters, the CHROs and the recruiters in the organization said they do not find local talent enough to match the skills in that region. And if you look at how the workforce is changing, there's a McKinsey study, in fact, which says by 2020, 50% of the global population is going to be millennials. Now, all of us know, and we've been talking about it, millennials have a very different mindset. They are approaching the workplace as consumers. What do we mean by that? That means they expect instant gratification in terms of their learning, in terms of how they are rewarded, in terms of how they are paid. And I think it was Ibu Nikke in the morning who mentioned that for Pertamina, there's 58% population that's millennials, and they have a challenge of trying to retain them and engage them. So I think it is a global problem, and we have had several of our leaders talk about it. So moving just to, this whole conversation around artificial intelligence, which is becoming a very, very critical skill for us in the future. Primarily, artificial intelligence, from an IBM perspective, we call it augmented intelligence. And the reason is very simple. Artificial intelligence, for some reason, has got a slightly negative connotation these days, courtesy the Hollywood movies, because we have the Transformers and the robots taking away lives and, governing the world and doing away with the population, etc. So there's slight negativity associated. We call it augmented intelligence because it is basically artificial intelligence plus. And what we mean by that is artificial intelligence or augmented intelligence in our context is supporting us as humans to take faster, better decisions. So this is really, again, referring to Martin's conversation about agility. If we all had every single data point about the decisions that we had to take, how quickly can we process it? And human brain does not have the ability to process all that information quickly. You could do it over a period of 6 months or a year if you had to evaluate everything. But to get all the data quickly, assimilate it, and then be able to come up with a decision is quite a difficult feat, and which is why artificial intelligence or machine learning is able to support that. So primarily, cognitive in our word is something that is a machine basically that understands, it reasons, it learns, and it interacts. So what does it understand? It understands unstructured data, videos, photographs, and so on, anything that is available on the internet today and on the cloud. It can understand that information, including, of course, paper scanned information. It reasons. So based on what kind of training we have done of that particular machine, it can reason and apply logic. It learns the way you teach it. So if it was Watson, for example, in Indonesia, it would learn the language for Indonesia. It would understand the colloquials, the idioms that you use in your conversation, because it uses the Watson natural language processing to understand and talk. And of course, it interacts. It sees, it hears, and it interacts with its users. So if we use this, how does IBM use it? One of the things that we promise our clients is, and there's a lot of debate about the security aspects of Watson, is that your data as clients is something that rests with you. So it's not something that is given out in the public, or we don't own the data for you. It's your data. You leverage it. You put it in. You train Watson, and then you leverage it for your own insights. So that's our value proposition. So IBM Watson is our core technology. Just some data points around how many customers we've already reached through this. 1 billion customers. It's already being deployed in 45 countries and 20 different industries. And in 8 languages apart from English, it is being trained to converse. So some of our clients there, and you can see they are big names. So Now I wear my HR hat and talk to you about what I am going to talk about. Our HR point of view, we've heard the workforce point of view. The HR's point of view is that organizations of the future are AI-powered and talent-centric. And what does it mean? Back to the point on millennials, we need to have HR programs and policies that are that have the employee experience context. It is AI-enabled, it is talent-centric. We also use a concept of design thinking, which is basically thinking from the perspective of the user. So if our employees are our users of HR programs and policies, we have to make sure that they are being addressed from their perspective, not from our perspective, not because we designed a policy. It has to be the interface with the employee. So these are the two most critical things that we think are required for the organizations of the future. And in this context, I'm going to talk about what we have done in IBM HR to design some Watson-enabled cognitive HR products, some of which are not available to the market because we are experimenting, and some of which we have tested and piloted, and we are actually offering it to our clients as well. And I'm going to try and see if I can relate it to the context of this, this conference, which is around learning and education. So, talent-centric, AI-powered, cloud. So, of course, all of you understand that you cannot have online and AI-based solutions unless it is on cloud. So obviously that's the base of it. Almost all our HR products and solutions are now cloud-enabled. And we use agile and design thinking principles. I'll refer to, I was very impressed with Ruang Guru's vision. You know, Park Belfa and Pa Iman talked about the fact that it will take 128 years to skill up, and I think no one has those kind of time. Today, technology is changing within 6 months, and we have conversations that, you know, 4-year degree colleges may, in fact, become obsolete because by the time you learn something in the first year, in the 4th year, some of that learning may not be relevant, the speed at which technology is growing. So agile is a very important aspect of our rollouts. We cannot afford to wait to bring our product or solution over a period of a 1 year or a 1.5 years. We have to deliver it in 2 to 3 months or 4 months. So everything that I will show you is related, is pretty much launched in a space of about 3 to 4 months. So let me first look at what are the solutions that we have done. And one of the things that I wanted to, of course, call out is within IBM HR, all of us, you know, me included, we've had to go through our own training. So it's back to the fact that we have to reskill ourselves to survive and train and advise and guide our clients about cognitive or artificial intelligence-based products. So number one, we have a CHIP. CHIP is a chatbot that is meant for new hires. And basically, we don't have an onboarding specialist. We have this chatbot through which employees talk to and ask questions about IBM's policies, etc. Watson Right Fit is, if you ever go to the IBM website, it is it looks at your CV, it asks you a set of questions, and that's all Watson enabled. It looks at your facial expressions, it looks at how you converse, and asks you a set of questions, and then tells you whether you are a fit hire for IBM from a cultural perspective, from the work perspective, and skills perspective. So that's something that we are already using. So that's on the attract. In order to retain, we have 2 products. Both are available for managers. So Cognitive Talent Alerts basically sends alerts to managers of employees telling them, for example, that this employee of yours has not been promoted for the last 3 years, has been a top performer, has gained skills in all these new technology, why have you not promoted? So as some of the HR people would understand that many times managers don't give enough attention to these aspects. CogniPay is a salary recommendation tool. The reason it is in yellow is because I'm going to talk a little bit more after I finish this section. Develop and Your Learning is our Netflix of education. So all of you are most likely familiar with Netflix, where you get your movie recommendation based on your profile and the choices of what you have already seen. So if you've seen an action movie, the next time you log in, it will give you a recommendation of several more action films. And that's precisely what is there in our Your Learning interface. It's our Netflix of education, and I'll share some more details. Digital skills inference is really looking at the digital footprint of our employees, their Facebook, their LinkedIn, their Instagrams, their everything that is there in Google about them, and it assigns them digital badges to tell them, what kind of skills are they developing and what's their personal eminence. In IBM context, that is quite critical, and we are starting to track this as well for employees. Checkpoint Bob is our chatbot who supports employees in performance assessment process. So it basically guides them about how to set your goals, where to go and set your goals, how to get assessed, etc. Grow predictive leadership is we have Watson-enabled cognitive analysis done on the success profiles of our executive leaders. And based on that, we are trying to predict what would be the success of some of the talent that we have in our pool. So what kind of roles will they succeed in? What kind of personalities do they have that, and is it likely to succeed in the roles that they will be placed in? So it is predicting future leadership. And you can also relate that to students in school children to predict a certain extent of brilliance if you observe it. Watson Career Coach, it's that lady over there is called Micah, My Career Advisor. Also a Watson-enabled chatbot that talks to employees about guiding them for their career movements, for progression and promotion and so on and so forth. I'm not going to touch through all of them, but you can see we have Watson-enabled HR tools that we've had across the several gamut of the functions. I'm going to touch on one or two of them, those two that I just talked about, and also going to introduce to you the Watson Education platform, which is going to be very relevant for this audience. So IBM's Your Learning is a platform that is, as I mentioned, a Netflix. It uses 3 levers. The first thing that it gives is there's a dashboard where it records our learning. So everything that we have done is recorded, it is shown, it is online. We leverage the entire learning ecosystem that is available on the net to pull in data, and it is given to employees in a self-paced manner. So I can do my learning on my own time. I can do it in the format that I like. If I want to see videos, it will recommend videos. If I want to read Harvard Business Reviews or McKinsey reports, it will give me choices of those reports or research papers to read. If I want to do a classroom, it will enroll me in classroom sessions. So depending on the learner's profile and preferences, there are recommendations that are given. So there's Watson's recommendations for me, and then cognitive analyst-based interest. So if I'm interested in a certain type of training, it will throw me those recommendations. We've had a very, very high degree of success with Your Learning. Typically, we measure the success of our offerings internally with NPS, the Net Promoter Score. And for Your Learning, it is in the range of 8 to 9 which is we have a high degree of promotion within our employees for this product. This is commercially available to clients. Not everything that I showed you is. If you go to YouTube, you can actually see a lot of videos that talk about your learning. In the interest of time, I'll just move forward. So this is a very interesting product that is now being made available to clients as well. What it does is we are talking about skills, and this talks about how managers will pay for skills in the future. So typically, if you are managers, and I'm sure most of you are, when you decide salary increments for employees, there is some of it is data-based and some of it is gut feel, that, you know, I would like to give this much increment based on the budgets that you have and constraints that you have. What Watson does here is that it looks at 5 to 7 parameters of the employee's profile. It looks at their skill, it looks at the market data, the market positioning of that skill, it looks at the propensity to leave score of the employee, which we also calculate separately, and similar aspects, you know, where is the positioning of the employee in the salary range, etc. And it predicts to the managers whether you should give increment to the employee, skip the increment, or and if you do give it to the employee, whether you should give it high, medium, or low. So Watson gives that suggestion, and you can see there is, you know, the whole lot of analytics for the manager around the team profile that they have, what's the salary profile of the team, how are they positioned in terms of the market, so that the manager can actually take a decision about what to reward the employee. And in IBM, we have the concept of paying for skills and performance. So it's not, it has to be based on some data points so that managers can utilize the budgets more easily. So these are the two internal HR implementations that we have successfully done. CogniPay has been piloted in India, and it has also now been piloted in Middle East and Africa, and is about to go for its rollout in the rest of the globe. Okay, the next one. So we have, if you're familiar with the US university system, Georgia Tech is one of the premier engineering institutes in the US. And we had Jill Watson, who was an AI-enabled teaching assistant in Georgia Tech. And the students did not know that she was an artificial intelligence-enabled teaching assistant. So when the time came for Glassdoor ratings and other ratings that students do, Jill Watson was voted the best teaching assistant of Georgia Tech. And that was before the students knew that she's not a human, she is an AI-enabled teaching assistant. So this is some of the solutions that we have from Watson. Talking about another one, the IBM Watson Classroom has two elements for teachers. So what it does is IBM Watson element gives the teachers a 360 degrees view of each of their children in the class. Their entire profile and its app, it is in partnership with Apple. As many of you know, IBM has a partnership with Apple. So it's available on iPad and mobiles, where the teacher can see the full profile of its students, past history, not necessarily just from her own class or his own class, but the past history to actually identify the learning requirements of individual students in the class. Also gives all kinds of analytics about the education performance of the students so that teachers can take a holistic decision. The next one, this is a planning tool for teachers. So it helps them to identify and curate learning content from the learning ecosystem. So where to pull information from, obviously to make the teachers much more effective in getting the students the best possible learning sources, etc., from the net. So it is pulling all of that information. This is already implemented in the US and the Europe. We are planning to do the launch for Asia Pacific soon. IBM Watson Cognitive Tutor is an online, chat system for students to learn different subjects. also launched in US and Europe. Not going to talk too much about it, but again, if you want to global, Watson has partnered with Pearson, which is one of the most premier college graduation online learning organizations, and we've partnered with them for college graduates. And we also have Sesame Street characters now backed by Watson technology to have conversation on learning tools with smaller kids. So that's some of the scope that we have in terms of Watson education, and relevant from the perspective of the fact that we have teachers and educators today sitting in the audience. And the last but not least point is that IBM today in the US has more than 15% of its employees who do not have a college degree. So I think part of the conversation that we were having today is we have a space and scope for a lot younger talent to come into the workforce. You do not need anymore a 4-year college degree to get employed. And when that is the situation, some of the online platforms that are being made available now and some of the skills that are being projected for the future, including cognitive capabilities, AI, and so on and so forth, have to be learned pretty quickly, and students can scale themselves up and move to getting employed. And as I said, in some quarters there is a debate about whether the 4-year college degree will actually remain in the same format that we have today. So these are future trends, but for the preparation for it is something that we have to start now. There is really not much that we can delay in terms of being skilled for the future. So IBM has this concept called new collar, so not white collar, not blue collar, but something in between where they are working in the IT space, but they are not technically fully graduated from college. So with that, again, in the interest of time, and I'll be happy to take any questions, I have a last video which I'll request to be played.
Meet Nia. She is an university graduate looking for her first job. Nia is unsure what to do next. What career options to pursue? Will they align with her interest in information technology? What kind of jobs would be available for her? Does she have the right skills, or will she need to study further? What subjects to learn? Where to learn them? And how much will it cost her? Where does she begin, and who does she look to for advice? IBM's New Collar Advisor uses the power of Watson to enable highly personalized career counseling. The app analyzes huge volumes of unstructured data to offer Nia roles and career paths that suit her the best. Jobs aligned to her career path. Skills gaps that Nia needs to close. Access to education to close the gaps, and IBM mentors who can guide and support her. All within the sphere of her geographic, economic, and personal preferences. And at the click of a button. IBM's New Collar Advisor app is where Nia needs to begin to get to where she aims to be.
So thank you for your time and attention. I hope I have not taken too much time away from the lunch. And I'll be happy to take any questions from anyone who has anything specific to ask. Thank you for your time.